awkward Brace yourself for an epic compilation of the internet's most cringe-worthy and hilarious memes. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and question humanity's sanity as I react to the ultimate collection of awkward moment memes. First up is that awkward moment when you spell a word so wrong, autocorrect is like, I've got nothing, dude. I've got nothing. Yeah, I've been there once or twice. And the sad thing is in school, spelling was my best subject. But as I got older, it's almost like I didn't have room in my brain to remember how to spell words. Next up is that awkward moment when you try to fart silently, but it comes out sounding like a bullhorn. Now, come on, people. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Everyone farts. It's part of human nature. And there's definitely been times when I've thought that I was going to fart silently and it came out just like a bullhorn. Number 3 on our list. When someone walks into your smelly fart, but you are still in the area. Yeah, I've tried to crop dust people once or twice in my life. And I'm not too ashamed to admit it. 4th up on our list is the face that you make during a sneeze. Nobody looks attractive when they're sneezing. I'm just sorry. It's the cold, hard facts of life. I guess you could say it's one way to know that God has a sense of humor is the face that people make when they sneeze. And feet. Feet is another way to know that God has a sense of humor. Alright, the next one up on our list is that awkward moment when you think you are going to sneeze, but you don't. They go hand in foot. I mean, the face that you make during a sneeze and the face that you make when you think you're gonna sneeze are pretty similar. The face people make after my stomach decides it's gonna sound like a dying whale. I mean, yeah, this has happened. For sure it's happened. It happens at the worst time possible when it's dead silent and really you shouldn't be making any noise, and then all of a sudden your stomach is gonna be a dying whale. I mean, it happens to everyone. How my cat looks at me when I come home smelling of other animals. This is the face my cats make when I come home smelling like other animals. I mean, we can't have that. They will know that you cheated on them. That awkward moment when you're staring at nothing in particular and then realize you're staring right at someone. How many times have you done this? I know I'm not alone. It happened more often whenever I was in school, but yeah, I've definitely had moments where I'm just staring off into nothing, and next thing you know, there's someone making eye contact at me because they're like, "What are you staring at?" Okay, so now, literally, this is the face I made when I learned that cockroaches fly. And I'm willing to bet that you're probably making the same face because maybe you didn't know that cockroaches fly, but they do. And it's gross. That awkward moment when you go in for a handshake and they go in for a hug. Now, this doesn't happen to me so much because I'm that person who goes in for a hug. It just is what it is. That moment when you met someone famous. The face on the lady in this meme is literally the face I made when I met Jay Leno back when I was 18. Now, I was working at a hotel, a ritzy hotel, and this entourage of security guards comes walking my way, so I scoot out of the way, and they kind of break just a little bit. Jay Leno looks at me and says, "Hey," and I had this deer on the headlight look, or basically, if you ever watched Dirty Dancing, how Baby was like, "I carried a watermelon," that was me. That was literally me. I'm not even exaggerating. That awkward moment when unexpected company shows up and you have no makeup on, which I don't wear makeup, so it's not a big deal, but when the house is a mess. I don't know how many times I've had my mom say, "Okay, well, I'm going to be showing up tomorrow," and I spend all of that, the rest of that day just cleaning like a crazed lady. It happens. Not that I live in disarray, but if you know, you know. Like, there's a certain standard to whenever your mom's about to come and visit you, or people that you just think have higher standards than you are about to show up. You can't have them seeing that maybe you missed dusting or you didn't vacuum this week. I'm not here to judge. Next up is that awkward moment when you realize that they ain't waving at you. Yeah? Okay. Definitely had this once or twice where someone's, waving and I'm like, eh, and then I look behind me and there's, someone that they're actually waving at. That awkward moment when you want to laugh, but it's completely inappropriate. My mind functions in this area. This is where I live here. I'm constantly wanting to laugh at things that I probably shouldn't. It's called having a morbid sense of humor. Anyone who's worked in the medical field probably could relate. Public service in general, you probably can relate. Or that awkward moment when the teacher asks you to answer a question while you were not listening. This happened to me my senior year a lot. I don't know how many of you guys can relate, but my senior year I had senioritis really, really bad, where I slept in every class. Literally every class, including PE, which takes talent, you guys. But I would get asked sometimes a question, and it would wake me up because I would hear my name, and I'd be like, I would just have to let it roll off the cuff, and whatever came out of my mouth, well, I passed. I graduated, but I was not performing at my peak during my senior year. This next one, yes, this one has happened to me once or twice. That awkward moment when you realize they weren't talking to you. This would be the face I made whenever I realized that they weren't talking to me. And to make matters worse, this happened to me a whole lot whenever the Bluetooth headphones, how you could speak to people on the phone through the Bluetooth headphones, when they became really small and stuck in your ear real well, that's when it happened to me the most. It happened to me like 2 or 3 times before I was like, okay, well, unless they actually stop me to talk to me, I'm no longer going to respond to them because, well, they're probably not talking to me. Next up, anyone who has cats can probably relate. That awkward moment when you realize that your bed belongs to your cat. It does. It does. You ask for permission to lay in the bed with them. Or you consider yourself blessed if they lay near you while you're in bed. I know I'm not alone. That awkward moment when you realize this is your circus and those are your monkeys. Yeah. There's definitely some of that. That awkward moment when your children ask you why you have save icons in your desk. It's almost like having to explain tapes and VHSs and CDs. Even CDs nowadays, like, kids don't know what we went through. I do kind of miss those days every once in a while, but hey. That awkward moment when you don't know how to continue the conversation. How many of you all can relate to this? I know I often am very socially awkward. Like, I didn't used to be, but I'm kind of more socially awkward now because I don't want to just say what comes to my mind all the time. I've gotten into plenty of trouble doing that in the past. I've even gotten fired from a job once. And I try to think more before I speak as a result. But sometimes it leaves an awkward silence because you don't know what to say. This next one, I hate to admit it, but this has happened far more than I think it should. It's like, okay, the face that I make when someone says I look old enough to buy alcohol. I mean, okay, it's just not nice. You don't have to say anything. You could just not card me, but you don't have to add insult to injury by saying, oh, you look old enough. No woman in their right mind wants to hear that they look old enough to buy alcohol. And if you're someone who has control over that, Maybe instead of making them feel bad because they look old enough, maybe just brighten their day by carding them anyways. Do you ever think of that? Just some food for thought. But hey, if you found this entertaining, please consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and most of all, stay blessed, my friends. Brace yourself for an... Yeah. Try again.